My friends, our much-loved Australian War Memorial is a very special place for people across our nation, for visitors from overseas, for thousands of schoolchildren who come every year. It is sacred to us. In August every year, we honour the service and the sacrifice of our Vietnam veterans. This year, the memorial has a very special display to mark this time of remembrance, a powerful, evocative symbol of Australia's Vietnam experience, the Long Tan Cross. Its presence here will mean so much to our Vietnam vets, more than we could ever imagine, especially for those who fought at Long Tan. The battle that was Australia's single most costly engagement of the Vietnam War. During our 10-year-long involvement, there were bigger and more sustained battles, but few were so intense and dramatic. We must never forget the events of that late afternoon and early evening of 18 August 1966. 108 soldiers of D Company, 6 RAR, fought a fierce battle in a rubber plantation near the abandoned village of Long Tan. They faced a large Viet Cong and North Vietnamese army force. They were outnumbered at least 10 to 1. But with artillery support from the Australian base, 5 kilometres away, they fought off a series of determined attacks. At one point, they had to be resupplied with ammunition dropped from 2 RAF Iroquois helicopters. The soldiers of D Company fought for 3 long hours through a tropical downpour. Just as reinforcements arrived in the fading light, the fighting subsided and the rain stopped. The cost of victory had been high. 18 young Australians lost their lives in that rubber plantation. 17 during the battle, and 1 died of his wounds 9 days later. The youngest was just 19 years old, the oldest 22. Over half of them were national servicemen. Another 25 Australians were wounded. The day after the battle, 245 enemy bodies were counted on the battlefield, although it is believed many more dead and wounded were retrieved during the night. For its extraordinary heroism, D Company was awarded a US Presidential Unit Citation. On the 3rd anniversary of the battle, soldiers of 6th Battalion RAR returned to the site to erect and dedicate a commemorative cross. Soldiers who'd fought at Long Tan were present at the ceremony. After the Communist victory in 1975, the Long Tan Cross was removed from the site by local people. There's some mystery about its location until, in 1984, the cross was recovered by the Dong Nai Museum in Bien Hoa City, where it's been displayed with other relics from the war. 2 years later, the Long Dat District People's Committee erected a replica cross and a new plaque at the original Long Tan Cross site. Over time, the site fell into disrepair until Australians' veterans' organisations, with the permission of Vietnamese authorities, restored the replica cross and memorial. The site has become a focus for visits by Australian veterans and for remembrance ceremonies. Many other Australians have made pilgrimages to the Long Tan battlefield and seen the replica cross standing there now. In May last year, I had the privilege of doing just that in the company of Vietnam veterans. It was a very moving experience, one I shall never forget. The unforgiving landscape, the flatness, the reverence of the silence. We stared at those rubber trees, just the same height, just the same formation. No cover, nowhere to dig in, nothing except bare trunks of trees, the rustle of leaves scattering across that flat earth. I sat in quiet conversation with the vets there, in front of the cross. Our Vietnam veterans are very special to me. They belong to my generation. I watched them go to war, and I saw those who came home. In the last decade, many have become my friends for whom I have enormous respect. Many Australians have travelled to the Dong Nai Museum to see the cross. For those unable to undertake such visits, this new display offers a priceless opportunity. They can come to see this wonderful symbol of what our brave soldiers did. Perhaps they will come to understand, even if just a little, what service and sacrifice truly mean. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved. Charles Bean's famous words, inscribed in the entrance of this memorial, have spoken for many years directly to us of the Australian experience of war. Now, in the shadow of this cross, a new generation of Australians will encounter the Anzac spirit as exemplified by our Vietnam veterans.